Here's what came to my mind and my soul so I could share it with you um, while I'm driving. um, when we, feel like praying or doing any kind of a spiritual exercise, uh, essentially we are detaching ourselves, if we're doing it right, from the things, material things. Basically, that's what we're doing, and we are supposed to, because that's the only way we can make contact with the afterlife. Essentially, if you think about it, when you're praying, that's what you're doing. You're making contact with the afterlife, after this life, not the afterlife life, because the afterlife is the real life, if you know what I mean. But because you're praying to God, not the other guy, which is dead. Uh, no, you're praying to God, right? So God is in the realm of eternal life, and therefore you're praying to the real life, which is the afterlife life, I would like to call it. What we call afterlife, life is with small case later all the way, because this life, we mean life here. Life here is just a sample of the real life, which is eternal life. At any rate, so essentially, when you pray, if you're doing it right, and you're supposed to be thinking about this, at least keep it in mind. Be aware that that's what you're doing, because that's how your prayer is gonna be more effective. Essentially, what you're doing is you're communicating with the afterlife life, and therefore that means you have to detach. You have to show some piety, meaning concentrate. Now, if you're not doing that, then you're not praying the right way. Then you're not being pious. In other words, you just going through the motions, and unfortunately, that happens a lot. That happened to me too. We're only human, right? But that happens usually when you pray, but at the same time you're paying attention to something on earth. Like right now, it's impossible for me to pray, because obviously I have to pay attention to the road. See what I'm saying? So that would be the wrong way to pray, obviously. Now, does that mean that you cannot can do a kind of mental prayer while you're driving or doing whatever? Yeah, of course you can do that. Because you have a soul, right? You still have a soul. So that your soul is communicating with the afterlife constantly. So, because that's the nature of the soul. So, what you can do is you can do a prayer before your activity, the one you need to focus on, and then you will be somehow in a way connected to the afterlife, but not through prayer in that case. No, that doesn't mean that you can still pray, let's say, the Rosary or the Our Fathers, one of these standard prayers, while you're driving, like I probably will in a moment, because those are repetitive prayers, and so you hopefully have it memorized. So, it's okay, and as long as you gotta be focusing on something else, but at the same time your soul is connected. You see what I'm saying? That's different. So that's permissible. That's not non-pious. It's permissible, because you obviously have to be focusing on whatever it is that you're doing. But at the same time, you've been pious in the sense that you know what the Our Father says, you know what the Hail Mary says. So, but normally, when you pray, if you can, and most of the time you can, because when you pray, that's should be your only focus. Then you do it, and that's what it is. It should be your only focus, the afterlife, and you're praying to the Lord. you're focusing on Him. Essentially, you're getting ready for after this is over. Even if you do not realize that's what you're doing. If you're doing it the right way. When you're praying, you're preparing for your departure, your death, which is coming. That's the reality. We want to be with Him forever. We want to be in the afterlife life. That's what you are connecting with, the afterlife life. And that's what you're supposed to be doing in prayer if you're doing it right. Talk to you later. God bless.